Your Honor.
Very good. We'll call this regular meeting of the East Peoria City Council to order. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker.
Here.
Hill.
Here.
Mingus.
Here.
Sutherland.
Here.
Mayor Call.
Here.
All present, Your Honor.
Thank you. Please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the pledge.
Shall we pray? Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and every day. We ask that you continue to watch over all essential workers and continue to lay your healing hands to all those in need. We ask for this as your students and teachers are beginning to return to school. And always we look to you, and our country faces many challenges. Let us remember, for lack of guidance, the nation falls, but victory is won through many advisors. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the minutes, please.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the minutes of the regular meeting held on August 4th, 2020, and the minutes of the closed meeting executive session held on August 4th, 2020 be approved as printed.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Mingus.
Aye.
Sutherland.
Aye.
Mayor Call.
Aye.
All present, voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you. We have nothing under communications. Public comment. Anyone wishing to address the council on an agenda item, please come forward. Yes, sir.
My name's Robert Salzer.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
Councilman, I thank you for allowing me to speak. I have an issue in my neighborhood at 801 Oakwood Road that involves the city drainage system, and it's not the city's fault. What happened several years ago was a contractor was landscaping the neighbor's yard across the street, and he filled the city ditch full of stones. And I don't mean little stones, I mean up to the size of footballs. And I've been trying to maintain it to keep the water flowing, but I'm 85 years old and I can't do it anymore. And it has created a problem. You know what a problem we had with that 8 inches of rain.
Oh, sure.
Well, it caused me another problem because all that water dammed up and came across the road and flooded my property. I've spoken by phone with Councilman Decker, and I haven't got any response, but I imagine you're pretty busy. And I would like to go on record that it needs to be resolved. All they have to do is clear that landscaping stone out of the ditch, and the water will flow freely because there's a culvert comes across to my property and continues on, and there never has been any problem up until this time. And I speak now for my neighbor who was unable to attend to a prior commitment, Pete Bennett. He has the same problem with the water running down his driveway and depositing trash and leaves like it does in my yard. And he would like to see it resolved too. He asked me to speak in his behalf. So,
Mr. Salzer, if you wouldn't mind, I have spoken with Rick quite a bit about this, and right before the meeting, Morgan told me that you would come tonight. So I called Rick to make sure that I remembered it correctly. If I remember correctly, your neighbor who has the landscaping material in her ditch, she is okay with it being cleaned out, correct?
she says, Pete has talked to her.
Okay.
And like she said, it's not my property.
Yeah.
I'm not going to clean it out.
Rick did say that he does agree that he'll clean that out, and it is being planned to be cleaned out. It just hasn't gotten there yet. When I spoke with him a few minutes ago, though, he said tomorrow he will take a look at it and try to move it up a bit. They will still have to, speak with her to make sure they're not doing something she doesn't expect. Obviously, they have the right to clean the ditch anyway, but they are planning to do that, sir.
Well, I appreciate that.
All right.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you for bringing your concerns forward. Thank you.
What?
Thank you for bringing your concerns forward. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the council on an agenda item, please come forward. Yes, sir.
I'm Kurt Klaus. I live on Hawthorne Avenue in East Peoria. And I'm wondering, a lot of cities around here have golf cart allowances. You can drive them on the street in subdivisions. Wondering if East Peoria would consider doing that. My wife's pretty much handicapped. I'd like to get her to go out, be able to get a little fresh air once in a while other than sitting in a car. They're 20-mile-an-hour top speed, so not like we're gonna be drag racing.
Yeah, that's something, I don't even know that that's.
A lot of
ever
the
been
cities
discussed.
around are doing them. Tremont, Creve Coeur, Pekin, Metamora. Something I'm interested in, just so I can get her out and get some fresh air.
Sure. Well, certainly not going to make any promises, but
Oh,
you brought
I
it forward.
realize
So, that's something the council can discuss, and if there's an interest there, we can bring something forward.
I live right down the road from J.J. Toppers that sells them, so.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
All right.
very good. Thank you,
Thank
sir. Anyone else wishing to, yes, ma'am?
So as it was said about the lot of rain that we had, July 15th, in the Richland Farms area, I know that we had discussed a meeting with this, about one of the pumps had, failed during that rain and a lot of sewage backed up in our basements. I have gone through my insurance company to resolve some of the issues. However, it did not take care of everything. So I did put a claim in with the city, but their insurance declined it because they said it was an act of nature. So my question is what kind of maintenance has been done on those pumps to even know that they were kept up with to keep that from happening to begin with?
So here's, glad you brought that up, because here's my intent, okay? My intent is to bring forward people that are actually responsible for that drainage ditch down there. That is not the city. I know people don't want to hear that. It's what's called the East Peoria Levee and Drainage District.
Right.
And there are 3 board members. And it was about 2 years ago, Dan, we had a neighborhood meeting down there at the community center, and we invited those folks to speak. And that was also for our purposes, because I had no understanding of what that board was comprised of, what their responsibility was. And they did a very good job of explaining to the residents that attended that. I would like to bring those board members forward here to do a working session, because I think there's a lot of misunderstanding on whose responsibility is what.
Right, but my concern is it wasn't just the drainage ditch. It was also the pump at the sewage plant.
I
have actually a copy of the email that was sent to me that said that there was a breach in the pump that caused it to overflow and shut down.
Are you familiar with that?
No.
Commissioner Shelton?
I have a,
I don't, you know what? I think the pumps, I don't know who sent you that email.
It was Rick Szymanski.
Okay, so there are pumps, all right, the core pumps down there that Caterpillar maintains. One of those failed.
Yes.
Okay, I hate to say it, that is not the city. That's probably why that
Okay.
was denied.
So
And I don't
who-
know, I mean, that's a whole nother animal. I don't know how we'd even begin to tackle that one. But the only reason why I was made aware of that, because Mike Johnson, who's the director of the Park District, they called him to help reconnect or reinstall a new pump to get that up and running.
Yes, I
So-
have pictures.
What's that?
I have pictures.
Yeah. So, listen, I'm not trying to skirt the issue. There's problems down there. We're aware of those problems. is all we're trying to do as a city is we're trying to coordinate. There's a
Right.
lot of different entities involved, and I know it's frustrating for the residents down there. We're trying to do our best to work with all the entities and bring everybody together, so we all have an understanding of whose responsibility is what.
Right. I guess my concern is
Yeah.
getting down to the bottom of it on who I need to turn my information into to try to get the rest of my basement fixed.
That I'm not sure. I'll have to try to find out through the drainage and levee district. I don't know. I don't know how that
Okay.
works.
Alrighty.
Seems like it'd be more them.
What kind of a pump was it, Mayor? Was it?
I don't know. They have, Mike, can you speak to that, or am I?
Which pump?
Actually, Cord, am I speaking out of line on those pumps down there? Sorry, not to put you on the spot.
The city pumps themselves, there was no failure within the city pumps for the wastewater system. I'm not clear, there are some pumps back there that do not belong to the city, as you spoke earlier.
Yeah,
As far as whether or not they were working or failed, I don't have any knowledge of that myself.
yeah.
But we do not own them, we do not maintain them, and they are not associated with anything related to the city. So I don't know.
So does that mean that it don't have anything to do with our sewage in our area?
Can I take a shot at this?
Sure, sure.
No. I'll take the bullet here, okay? When you have an 8-inch, 9-inch rain, and it overwhelms all the systems, it overwhelms the levee, overwhelms Caterpillar's pumps that they have, they're huge pumps too. They're not little bitty pumps in a manhole. They're huge. I've been down in that hole umpteen years ago, and they're huge. When those fail, it'll be during a catastrophic rain like we had. What the problem is here, and I'm going to get on my preacher pulpit again, you have basically 4,600 houses, not including the businesses in East Peoria. Am I fairly accurate there?
No, I think there's
Totally Peoria, about 90.
99,000. It's
Well-
like 95 or 9,600.
Let me rephrase that go to that part of the sewer plant.
Okay.
The other half go to plant number 3, okay? When you have half of those houses, which would be approximately 2,000 houses, discharging anywhere from 4,000 to 5,000 gallons an hour per sump pump onto the system, what you should be looking at, and no, it doesn't help you out, is during a rain, the sewer should, if you monitor the sewer flow, should stay the same. Before the rain, at the beginning of the rain, in the middle of the rain, and after the rain. There shouldn't be any deflection unless people are in their houses when it rains, turning all their faucets on in their showers and running their toilets. It shouldn't change. What the problem is in East Peoria, and that is everybody doesn't have a place to discharge their sump pump and their footing tile to keep their house from being flooded. They put everything into the sewer system. The sewer system gets overwhelmed. Hence, we're spending $36 million to fix a system that probably didn't need $36 million spent on it. I'll guarantee you it didn't, because a lot of the things that we're doing is we're building these huge ponds to hold millions of gallons of water. And during this last rain, there was an inflow of 8 million extra gallons in like 2 or 3 hours. And there was only a capacity to hold a couple, 3 or 4 million gallons. Something's got to give. So
Right.
that's why I keep saying since the beginning, when I took my seat here, I said, listen, when you have manhole covers blowing off going down Arnold Road from Bowling School and they're flying up in the air 20, 30 feet, those things, they're not light. That takes thousands of gallons and hundreds of pounds, thousands of pounds of pressure to throw them up in the air like a quarter. And what I'm trying to tell you, and that is, I did, when you called, or I believe it was you who called and talked to me, I did make my phone call, and I could find no city pump that was not turned on or that was failed. If you guys found a pump that didn't belong to the city, that didn't turn on or failed, has nothing to do with your sewer system. Zero. If those pumps didn't work, and the city pumps were working, that was storm sewer that the levee district is trying to control to keep. Because years ago, which caused the Corps of Engineers to come in here, I'm not a historian, but back in the late 1800s or early 1900s, a flood came by that was approximately 8 or 9 or 10 inches of water and actually washed downtown East Peoria out into the river. All the railroad tracks that you see now, and we only have like 1/5 of the railroad tracks that we used to have even when I was a kid. I could see the old-time pictures of people standing 20, 30 feet in the air on top of the railroad tracks and the mounds of mud that came down. So the Corps of Engineers came in and started handling the problem because Caterpillar was an integral part of our government during World War I and World War II. So they had to protect Caterpillar. And in doing so, they put an intricate system in. That's why you see all those dams out in Farmdale and stuff. And I bitched about 2 or 3 months ago that there's not enough money for the Corps of Engineers to come in and do their jobs. They're barely able to keep up the big dam parts, and there's dozens of little dams down there that slowed the water down and guided it that are just gone. Take a walk down there, you'll see. But I come to the end of my diatribe here by trying to tell you that if your sewer is going up during a rain, it's not because of somebody's flushing their toilet like they shouldn't be. It's because of people who are pumping water into the system like they shouldn't be, but they've got nowhere to put it. So that's why I want to get working on the streets in East Peoria to put a 6-inch pipe behind each curb where everybody has a place to discharge, goes into the creek system. And then we may overwhelm the creek system, but at least we won't be overwhelming the sewer system and making sewer back up in people's houses. And it's more than just your area down there.
Oh, yeah, I
It
know.
really is. It was statewide. It was countywide. It was everywhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that wasn't just an East Peoria thing, that, during that event, there wasn't a system around that was gonna be able to handle 9 inches of rain.
So what I'm trying to say, and that is, if the sewer department made a mistake, I guarantee you, that man in the back of the room back there is gonna take care of it, and he's doing a very good job, and our pumps did not go down.
No,
If
they
somebody
didn't.
else's pumps did go down, it had nothing to do with our sewer system,
Yeah.
okay?
So which one is the wastewater treatment plant?
There's actually,
Yeah, we have.
well, technically there's 3, even though there's only 2 up and running. One's on Caterpillar Trail and one's down on Cass Street down.
Okay, so the one on Cass Street, right here in my email, it says that it did shut down, that it overwhelmed the capacity of the plant, and that it did breach.
First of all,
I have no-
I'll tell you this. Rick Simonsky, I'm not throwing anyone under the bus. He's streets. So I don't know why Rick would be sharing with you what happened at the wastewater treatment plant. Here's what I do
Well,
know.
I've got Cord Chrysler
That's
on here
cord in the
too.
back. We did not have a pump go down, so I'm not sure what the
Okay.
meaning behind whatever was
I don't
shared
know,
with you in
but
an email.
This says it, so
Okay.
I don't know either.
Well, maybe you can get together with Cord. He would be the gentleman in the very back.
Yeah,
That's Cord. Maybe you can get together with Cord and.
okay. Alrighty, thank
All
you.
right, thanks.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to address the council? Seeing no one, very good. Commissioner Hill.
Be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, that the claims listed on Schedule Number 7 be allowed. Mr. Mayor, I move that the clerk is hereby authorized and directed to issue orders on the treasurer for the various amounts totaling $1,383,627.09, and the schedule of bills hereby adopted as presented.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I mentioned I've got 5 other cases. So be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, that resolution number 2021-032 hereto attached, a resolution to approve the Riverfront Mid-Rise Apartment Development Agreement with Tacona Group, Inc. be approved. Mr. Mayor, I move you that this resolution number 2021-032, having been read once by its title and having laid on the table for no less than 1 week, 1 week for public inspection, be adopted as presented.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mangus.
Okay, on this one, again, the first couple items normally in our omnibus, and we talked about this in our last meeting. Again, this is a development agreement for the property adjacent to, and I blanked out last time, Granite City. Granite City. And this is for, let's see if I had, back here. For 142 market-ready apartments and other amenities. And so this project here, as we discussed last meeting, is a minimum of $13 million investment, and we look forward to this project moving forward.
Very good.
That's it.
Discussion from the council?
Looking forward to getting something on that property, Mayor. I think this will be a very nice development. I think looking at all the people trying to purchase condos or renting places on the Peoria side, I believe that they'll go very quickly.
Yeah, I agree. Other comments? The only thing I want to share are the 142 fair market residential apartment units. You know, this is the second development we've announced, residential development, and as we've stated, that was a goal of the city dating back many, many years ago to have a residential component down here in the downtown area. So I think it will complement the area very well, and both these projects are slated to break ground in 2021 and be completed sometime in 2022. So some exciting times, and we're ready to move forward with them. Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move you that ordinance number 4515 here to attach, an ordinance authorizing a special use for property located at 2250 East Washington Street in the city of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mangus.
What we have here at the address 2250 East Washington, Mr. Petitioner, Mr. Tony Pham of TC Cab Services is going to be operating cab service as well as U-Haul rental from the property at this location. The ZBA listened to the case and voted 4-0 for allowing this special use, and again, the special use being the cab company operation as well as the U-Haul rental and sales. So the conditions were less than 25 U-Haul trucks and trailers. No trucks would be allowed, box trucks allowed out in front of the property for more or less a safety reason, blocking people entering and exiting the Ace Hardware next door as well as that property itself. And that there was also, as usual, anytime we have a special use or a zoning change, but again, this is a special use, there's landscaping requirements that they have to abide by.
Well said. Comments from the council?
Commissioner, I have no objection to this, and I've not received any objection from any of the neighbors or anyone. I did have a question. I was surprised to see that it was a special use. I guess not knowing the codes as well as others. I didn't realize that would be a different type of need. I guess I would have thought it would have fallen under just not needed a special use, but I'm okay with it. I didn't know if there was anything you could share as to why it did, or it's just the way it is.
Again, many things in our city as well as many other cities are controlled by special use, and this is one of them that a cab service company is.
In general, okay. I
And then
gotcha.
the storage, even though in this case, the storage, anytime you have storage of any goods, whether landscaping or otherwise, that covers the storage of the U-Haul units on the property as
Okay.
well.
I was thinking business, so I thought it was appropriate. I didn't realize that those two would be specific for a special use at all times. Thank you.
Very good. Other comments from the council?
I'm just glad that property's been vacant for quite some time. I think I'm glad to see, I've noticed the U-Hauls down there, and I'm glad to see a business in there. I think that's good for our city.
I agree.
Well, it wasn't all the way empty. There was a massage parlor in there for a while.
There was.
It didn't last long, thank goodness.
Well, I prefer to remember it as the Chinese restaurant first, but
Yeah, there you
Yes,
go.
they had a good business there, by the way.
Yes, they did. Very good. Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move you that ordinance number 4516 hereto attached, an ordinance authorizing a special use for property located 400 Cimarron Drive in the city of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker.
Okay. Mr. and Mrs. Overcash live on this property, and they've come forward, again, through the zoning board. And this particular special use is for a larger than permitted accessory structure. So the zoning board, one, heard the case, and also the property here is no less than, I think, 40 acres. And so the unusual nature, again, of this building and the layout and where the building will be is, again, it will be a high-quality barn or, barn structure that had been taken apart and will be inspected and installed professionally here on the property. And so one aspect of it is that it's out in front of their main residence, but on 42 acres, this particular property size will not be closer than a couple hundred feet of the nearest house or resident alongside that property. So there's one more, the ZBA had voted 5-0 in favor and recommendation of the special use here,
Very good. Comments from the council?
Mayor, this was brought to me, it just brought to my attention that it was coming up again with this property. I've heard no one speaking out against it. I was wondering if we would, but absolutely no one spoke out against it. Dr. Overcash has built a couple homes, beautiful, beautiful homes, and I'm confident that what is done on this property will match the property itself.
So, other comments?
I was watching the zoning meeting, and I think it's going to be I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's just under 40 acres, the property is, and for those that know where it's located, I mean, there's plenty of room, and it's not going to affect anybody, and no, nobody spoke out against it. And quite honestly, I think it was brought forward, well, not this one, I guess the next
one.
agenda item, so I'm getting ahead of myself, but yeah, I will certainly support it. Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move you that ordinance number 4517 hereto attached, an ordinance authorizing an additional special use for property located at 400 Cimarron Drive in the city of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker.
Okay. As the mayor started to allude to, again, the Overcashes had come to the city back in 2013. And I was actually on the Zoning Board of Appeals at that time, and the special use here is to allow for livestock, specifically horses, on this property. And again, as I mentioned in the previous case, this is somewhat less than 40 acres. In the piece of information I gave before about the barn and 200 feet, actually nowhere where the areas where the horses will be within 200 feet of the nearest neighbor. And the reason this is in front of us for really a renewal is if you do not act upon it in a specified period of time, it expires. And so previously, the vote from the ZBA and the approval was made, and the homeowners did not act on it. So in this particular case, they're back, and it's the ZBA voted 5-0 recommending approval. And then with some conditions, no more than six horses, and they did give what I call it, or at least consider an extended period of time. They have 3 years to enact on this special use.
Well said. Comments from the council? Hearing none. Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
One more, Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I move you that ordinance number 4514 here to attach, an ordinance establishing Special Service Area 2019 in the city of East Peoria and approving Special Service Area 2019A project to improve Access Road 6, the funding of road improvements to Access Road 6, and the levying of property tax against properties benefited by the road improvements. Be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
I have a second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker.
Okay, those that watch the meeting this is somewhat of a renewal. And what I mean by that is that back in September of 19, the special service area came up. And the process involved there requires that the public hearing that was held in November of that year, 60 days expires to allow for anybody to post a complaint against the special service area, in which none occurred. But due to delays in the construction or improvement of the roadway, we have the need to come back and revisit and approve this the same agreement that we had before. Let's see if I had anything else I wanted to mention. In the description, it's not only the road improvement, but the funding of the road improvement, so we need to approve this again so that the city can seek funding, but the levying of the property tax against the properties that benefit has always been part of, and again, this additional tax is imposed on those properties that benefit from the road improvement, and those payments, that tax levy is used to pay either the loan or the bonds that will be used for that improvement. The city has no funding involved in this other than being part of the funding model to levy the tax and to pay either the loan or the bonds.
Well said. Comments from the council? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Mayor, that's all I have.
Very good, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Decker.
Mayor, I have nothing, although I'll take this opportunity to say, under Commissioner Mingus's item, I'm going to abstain due to my employment with this city.
Okay, well noted. Commissioner Sutherland.
No, sir, I have nothing tonight.
Commissioner Mingus.
As noted, I have one item tonight, Your Honor. Resolution number 2021-036. Resolution authorizing temporary increase in the number of firefighters on the East Peoria Fire Department. Whereas Title I, Chapter 5, Section 2.1 of the East Peoria City Code authorizes the City Council to determine from time to time by resolution the number of individuals to hold each rank of the East Peoria Fire Department. And whereas in December 2018, pursuant to Resolution number 1819-106, the city temporarily increased the number of firefighters in the fire department by 3 to a total of 33 firefighters in an effort to minimize overtime costs in the fire department. And whereas in accordance with Resolution number 1819-106, a temporary increase to 33 in the number of firefighters in the East Peoria Fire Department that was approved in December 2018 will then decrease back down to 30 through attrition of the members leaving the fire department after April 30th, 2020. And whereas pursuant to Resolution number 1920-131, approved in April 2020, the temporary increase in the number of firefighters in the fire department to 33 was extended through April 30th, 2021. Whereas a firefighter is anticipated to move to inactive status in the near future, and whereas it is in the best interest of the City of East Peoria to temporarily increase the total number of individuals holding the rank of firefighter in the East Peoria Fire Department by 1 to 34 until the anticipated change in the status of the firefighter, and whereas it is in the best interest of the city that after the anticipated change in the status with this firefighter in the near future, the total number of firefighters in the fire department will be reduced back to 33, and thereafter the total number of firefighters in the fire department will be reduced through attrition to 30 after April 30th, 2021. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, that Section 1, effective immediately, the fire department of the City of East Peoria shall consist of the following personnel: 1 fire chief, 3 assistant fire chiefs, 9 lieutenants, 34 firefighters, 1 paid on-call firefighter. The fire chief is hereby authorized and directed to notify the Police and Fire Commission of the temporary increase in firefighters and to request the Police and Fire Commission to undertake the process of appointing a probationary firefighter to fill the position hereby created. Section 3, subject to further action by the City Council effective after the anticipated change in the status of the firefighter in the near future, the Fire Department of the City of East Peoria shall consist of the following personnel: 1 fire chief, 3 assistant fire chiefs, 9 lieutenants, 33 firefighters, 1 paid on-call firefighter. Subject to further action, but Section 4, subject to further action by the City Council effective on April 30th, 2021, pursuant to Resolution Number 1920-131, the Fire Department of the City of East Peoria shall consist of the following personnel upon attrition to the staffing levels established in this resolution: 1 fire chief, 3 assistant fire chiefs, 9 lieutenants, 33 firefighters, 1 paid on-call firefighter. Mr. Mayor, I move that resolution number 2021-036 be adopted as presented.
I have a second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill. So what all that reading really says is that in 2018, the City Council decided to raise the number of firefighters from 30 to 33. The reason for that being that the overtime costs were, it was more fiscally responsible to have 33 firefighters to avoid the overtime costs than it was to have 33. 33 made sense financially. We are at 33. We have an anticipated opening that we will have. It's been the past practice of the City Council to fill that position before the outgoing person leaves. That way we have somebody trained and ready to get on the streets immediately upon that person leaving. So this will temporarily increase it to 34, and then when that individual is no longer able to work or no longer working for the city, we will be back to 33. So that kind of lays it out. We'll be at 34, 33, and we actually have, we'll have two spots in the academy. One, we had another opening just through a resignation. So we're excited to get our new people trained and ready to go.
Well said. Comments from the council? Hearing none, just to add, maybe you've said it, but the academy is in September, and, you know, I have historically supported doing exactly what we're doing here, because the way the timing of the academy is versus when these folks are trained and counted as manpower, the overtime costs in the past, the city always played catch-up, and that's not a good way of conducting business. So I've always been supportive of doing exactly what we're doing tonight, and I'll continue that. So,
Thank you.
thanks. Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Abstain.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
I have 4 ayes and 1 abstention, Your Honor.
Thank you.
That's all I have tonight, Your Honor.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner. Public comment. Anyone wish to address the council on a non-agenda item? Anything you want to bring up? Feel free. I know you folks did at the beginning, which is okay. Seeing no one come forward. Comments from the council?
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Salzer, I will again tomorrow talk with Rick to make sure that we'll speak with her and get on that for you. And otherwise, we are getting closer and closer to the Traveling Vietnam Wall coming to the city of East Peoria. It's going to be an exciting event to have in the city. It's going to be right out here to my right on this, perfectly manicured lawn. I'm impressed with the job that the workers do on this lawn. It looks great. It'd be a great place to have that event. On the 23rd, Wednesday, September 23rd, is when it will be coming into town. A lot of motorcycle riders will be working to bring it into town for us, giving it an escort. They will pick it up someplace a little bit south of Lincoln, I think, and then drive into town. It should get into town right about 9:45 to 10 o'clock. So if anybody would like to come down and see the commotion, it should be pretty neat. And then have a team of people to set it up. It should take a couple of reports. Some say 3 to 6 hours, but in speaking with the gentleman, the curator of it, we believe 2 to 3 hours should have it set up. From then, it will be open, and it will be open constantly until we take it down on Sunday afternoon. There will be an opening ceremony on the 24th, Thursday the 24th at noon. Should have some neat guest speakers. Looking forward to that. I'll give details to that in the next council meeting. We've had generous support from the public and great support from the city of East Peoria as well. We are right up at the goal of bringing it here, and we are still accepting donations. Obviously, there are always expenses that could come up, whether it be lighting or what have you. Anything in excess that we get will be donated then to the Central Illinois Honor Flight, and that, to help those veterans that served and fought in our wars to be able to be taken to Washington, D.C. to see the monuments in Washington. Like I said, on Thursday at noon is when the opening ceremony will be. I have promised Rick Swan it will be 45 minutes to an hour at the most. And then on Sunday, I think that would be the 27th, at noon, right around noon, we'll have a more somber, it'll probably take 10 to 15 minutes, I guess, retirement of the colors with taps, and we have, we believe, an active military unit is going to take care of that for us, so pretty excited about that. If anybody would like to help out, please let me know. And I have no problem telling my cell phone number, 309-251-9174. Also, you can email me, Daniel Deckert, cityofeastpeoria.com. And we are looking for a lot of volunteers to walk the grounds during the event. Like I said, it's going to be open 24 hours a day for that time. And they would like us to have 2 people on site at all times. Not only security, we also will have people there volunteering to assist people finding names on the wall. And then people that find the names on the wall like to make etchings. They'll have the materials there for that. They put the paper up against it and have a pencil or a lead piece to make the etching so they can keep that. The goal will be to have a couple volunteers at all time to help people with that as well. So if you or anybody, obviously this is on television as well, would like to help out, please let me know, and we'll be happy to put you to work. That's it, Mayor.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Commissioner Hill.
Okay, I think I've mentioned this before. I know that we've become creatures of social media, so I want to reach out to the citizens that we, I can only speak for myself, that find citizens that might be complaining or questioning things, and they're doing it through social media, and they may not be getting the right information. And the most recent one is about water bills. So I would encourage, if people have questions on how to calculate the water bills, or what's going on, or questioning whether their meter's working, that they contact somebody here at the city. Because I recently, I don't look at my water bill up until recently, until I started seeing the chatter. And so I went through the process of understanding how it's calculated. And one of the things that I'll point out that, in the East Peoria City water bill, there's many different ways that, or there's many different rates depending on your age, and there's some that aren't metered, and there's some that are metered, but so there's straight line calculation that goes into this. But on your sewer bill, you have a water charge, you have a sewer charge, and the one thing that people evidently are just becoming noticing is the sewer capital charge. And so each one of those have a way of calculating based on your usage. And so one other point that I'll bring out is that as of August 1st bill dates, the rates change. Every year with the bill date of August 1st, the rates change. The water rate goes up. By ordinance, it goes up 3.5% each year. And so sewer rates are frozen at the moment for the next couple of years, I believe. And then the sewer capital charge is increasing each year for that same about period. But there's a way, and people can explain that. The wonderful staff went through that in detail with me recently down here at City Hall, so I encourage you to get your questions answered by getting a hold of somebody that actually has the information. So with that, the only other thing that I want to mention is I'm wonderfully happy of the farmers market every Friday from 4 to 7. It's been a great turnout. I love the lemonade. I come down and get my lemonade and get some of my bakery fixes as well. But they have obviously fruits and fruits and vegetables, and would encourage everybody to come on down. So that's it, Mayor.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Sutherland.
I have a couple things to say. I'm going to touch base on the water and sewer bill for just for a second. Yeah, yeah. I do know that we needed our sewer treatment plants upgraded. I've complained about several times about one of the reasons that we needed upgraded is because of millions of gallons going in because of people's simple sump pumps in their house. I understand that you may not understand that, but that is a huge problem for a city like this, especially right along the river. Having said that, these water bills and sewer bills that we're now looking at, the price increases, these rates were set in the year 2017. It was the administration before that took the controls of the wheel and decided to make this huge investment into the city. Whether it's right or not, is wrong or not, it's a moot point. I hope it's, and I think it's going to be a right decision, mostly because of the EPA fines that we would have been receiving if we wouldn't have done this. So having said that, don't ask me how to calculate the water and sewer bill, because I have no idea. Zero. This next one's kind of a one for Cole Smith. I promised to ride with him in the garbage truck, and I didn't. And as soon as it cools off in the next couple of weeks, Cole, I promise, I'll be there.
Guilty conscience right there.
Well, it is a little bit of a guilty
Don't
conscience.
go when the heat is up and the stink is at the top. You go when the,
I want to ride with anybody and everybody that invites me. So far, he's the only person that invited me as a garbage truck. I think I was waiting for a better ride, but no one, the fire department hasn't asked me, the police department hasn't asked me. So I guess the garbage truck is going to be my next ride. I'm going to say this about the guys that's out there working right now, street department, water department, sewer department, east side, all those guys. Until the last couple of days, the heat's been phenomenally hot, and they've been working through this. Their hours are starting early, they're getting off early, so you'll be hearing them bang around out there for a few more weeks out there early to avoid the heat. They've been doing a good job under these conditions, and so I want to give them kudos. That's it, sir.
Well said. Commissioner Mingus.
Two things. One, real quick, after sitting next to him now for however long we've been sitting next, I look at where people's sump pumps are draining every single time when I'm out and about, and even make comments to my neighbors about how their sump pumps may not be draining where they're supposed to. So I think Commissioner Sutherland will probably tell us about that, and he's right. There are a lot that don't drain where they're supposed to, and what he says makes sense when it comes to when we get heavy rains. The only other thing I would like to say is, when I am out and about, people will ask, we are still in a, I won't say crisis, but we're still looking at our numbers very closely with regards to the budget, and I know that Jeff Becker has been looking at that and has communicated, we're starting to get numbers in for the first quarter or moving along, and that's good, and we want to continue to see positive things. But people will ask, how do we get some of our services back? Recycling has come up. I know Commissioner Decker's been working on a plan, but then other aspects of the budget cuts. And the thing that I would say is, and that I tell them is, just please continue shopping in East Peoria. It's a time where people do spend some money on school supplies, back to school clothes, or whatever that you may be spending. I know that this is a time where we go shopping a lot. So I would encourage residents of East Peoria to not forget that we are, looking at we did look at some budget cuts, and we did look at some things that we'd like to get back, and the best way we can do that is continue having people shop in East Peoria and spend their money here so that the city can get the sales tax and realize how much we rely on that.
Well said. Thank you, Commissioner. Just a few comments. Might as well talk about that sewer capital charge. Both Commissioner Decker and myself, we served on the previous council, and just to give people an understanding, I get it's a painful charge. The reason why you see it as a separate line item is to show you that those funds are specifically for the wastewater treatment plant upgrade. The city had not upgraded its plants in I don't know how long, but it was to the point where we were being faced the challenge of the EPA coming in and finding us and then taking over and ensuring that that's done, which would be a much heftier cost to do that. It was long overdue. We did make the difficult decision to do that. So with that being said, the first 3 phases of that, we took out a $36 million loan. So in order to obtain a loan from the IEPA, you have to demonstrate a funding mechanism. To do that, there's your capital charge that is a separate line item to show folks that that's not money just going into some fund for us to spend. That is money directly going to pay off those loan payments, which the project's, so far to date is on schedule. We've had no major hiccups. We've had some overruns, cost overruns, but we built in, that 3% buffer, if you will, to cover those. So we're still within budget of that project, but I just wanted to give people a better explanation. Aside from that, with the water and the sewer rates, the city had not raised its rates, and I forget how long before that decision was made. And so, when people see that, they were so accustomed to having those rates, and all of a sudden you see this big jump, whereas this is what the city should have done. And I'm just saying this because I was a guy on that side of the podium when Commissioner Decker was on the council prior to that, barking about rate increases. And it wasn't until I educated myself and I listened to what they were saying at the time, justifying those increases, did I realize how far behind the city actually was. And, one thing that we did make a very tough decision. And one thing this council did, that was the first thing they stepped into, was, oh, by the way, we have to vote on a $66 million project. So anyway, it was a tough decision to make. It was a necessary decision. It was the right decision. It's painful looking from the outside in, but when you sit in this seat and you realize that we had very little choice but to do it, it was the right decision. I think at the end of the day, years from now, the city will certainly be glad that it did, as well as the residents. 2020 census. I've harped on this for the last year, and we're coming down to the wire on this. I know they've announced that that's going to wrap up a month early, so that will conclude at the end of September. For those that have not completed the census, please do so. It's vitally important to our funds and our representation in Congress. I can't stress that enough. It's based off population. So visit 2020census.gov if you have not. I do know there's some field representatives out now working in the field this last, month here to get things wrapped up. But please participate. It's vitally important to us. And then lastly, on a kind of a sad note, I don't know how many people up here know Barb McDonald, but she's not just a neighbor. She's been instrumental in bringing Moms Who Care to East Peoria, and it's actually grown into other school districts. She has done an awful lot for the kids in this community that have needs. She's done this behind the scenes, asking for no credit. Just a super nice lady, and unfortunately, her and her husband got a knock on their door, and they've lost their oldest son, sadly. So please keep that family in your prayers, and if there's anything that you think that you can do to help out the McDonald family, please reach out to myself or Commissioner Decker. We'd be glad to coordinate anything that we can do to help them, because they sure have done an awful lot for this community. And I just ask people to keep them in your prayers and thoughts and help them out any way you can in their time of need. So with that, I'd seek a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adjourn until Tuesday evening, September 1st, 2020 at 6 p.m.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you. We are adjourned until we meet again. Thank you all.